AIG, why future research lines in genealogy need international exchange. Por favor, Dirk.
Muchas gracias, Inés. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for giving me the honor to speak at this international colloquium for genealogy. And I would like to talk about why the genealogy. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's from February. That's the old one. I'm sorry. That's the old one. Yeah. That is the lecture I gave in. We put it on the desktop. We have put it on the desktop. Yeah, I'm sorry for the catastrophe. We put it on the desktop and it should have started automatically. So, okay, another topic, second trial. So, thank you very much for giving me the honor to lecture today. Why future research lines in genealogy need international exchange. Thank you for the technician. Yeah, I mean, you know that. This is us, this is mankind, this is the world. We are living here in the center of Europe. But the world is much, much larger, and we know where all the genealogy started, somewhere in Africa. But we are doing genealogy, and what should we do in the future is the leading question. Yeah, the last majority of genealogists are researching on their own, just on their own. Attempt to extract genealogical data from different sources to find out as much as possible. And they aim to reconstruct families in detail. Genealogy is a study of the past, studying a person, a whole family, different family lines of kinship, people who left and settled in different places. And genealogy is a work of precision. Yeah? When we want to be stable in what we write down and think we have found out, we must be precise. So it's best to do genealogy in silence, very slowly and very critical, carefully working through different sources, tracing evidence of lived lives. There might be a connection between from where you live to a different small village somewhere on another planet, and we want to find out how that is connected. We see changes over the centuries, over the decades in time and space. Genealogy, however, in a vast majority of cases, follows regional paths and only a very rare crosses national borders. In other words, among the genealogists, only a small group of researchers actually jump over any borders. And that is important to know when we look into the future. Genealogy might be for most genealogists a search for originality and identity. There could be different reasons for doing genealogy, for example, religious or just scientific understanding. What I find very, very touching is the novel of Marcel Proust, In Search of the Time Lost, as the French writer Marcel Proust teaches us one only can get back, so to say, when we tell it. This is a wonderful novel where he describes how memories come back to his mind when he puts in a Marilyn into a teapot. And this is highest literature. So very, very helpful in understanding of what we are doing. Additional to individual research, there are, of course, associations, different groups, national, international, umbrella organizations, as I have the honor of being the president of the German umbrella organization. But they are also divided in, let's say, scientific and popular, in aristocratic and non-aristocratic categories. A large number of genealogists actually work scientifically by methods and are organized in structures. But genealogical research primary again exists within the national framework. So again, the view and also the activity is bounded by the national or by the cultural borders. That is very important in my understanding of the future. So immigration and migration research into and from a different country is rarely be done. So once again, only specialists do the research in another country, do follow the way of migration over different national or cultural borders. If there are no hints, and this is in most of the cases, if there is no hint that someone of your family ever left your country to another one, you need to have special interest in such a migration question. If not, you do not do it. So again, there is a limitation of genealogical research by most of the people. But this lab across the national border, there is enrichment. Because you as a genealogist have to deal with different languages, with different sources, with different history and culture, and with different geography. So every different country you now put in perspective gets you the need of dealing with the whole character of that country. And the genealogy does have the character of an actual research. That means when you are researching on your desk, that is actually a journey you do because you're crossing roads, you're crossing borders, you're crossing seas, and you're crossing two different continents. So we know it as doing genealogy. When we do genealogical research, we are actually on a journey. So why should we forget about that when we are doing it internationally? So historical families did not come from the single place, nor it is very unlikely that we all are still living in that places. So there was migration in every single country and in every region. So there is movement all the time. This is a wonderful picture I took in the Polish town of Lublin, in the eastern part of Poland. That was the former entry to the Jewish quarter. And I was so amazed. Do you see the man sitting there on the doorstep doing something with his mobile phone? This could be a poster of a movie, because when you look at the different lights falling in, I was really amazed by that, because that picture for me symbolizes there is a key into history, into family history, and I wanted to share this with you. So genealogy, of course, is a door into history. Today, in these weeks, we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of our Académie Internationale de Généalogie, and it was founded at the International Congress in Turin in late September of 1989. So a very important year. But there was another event happening in that year. Perhaps you remember that the two Americans, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, founded Google, that today is the biggest search engine in the world. And of any online internet research inquiry, more than 90% go to that portal. And the next one only gets 3%. So that is enormous. And now it's perhaps a little bit overrated when I compare Google with AIG or AIG with Google, but for sure both have and still have impact on the whole world, especially on the world of genealogy. Both are celebrating its 25th anniversary, a kind of silver wedding, and both are important. So 2023 means Google and AIG. Don't forget it. It is much more important, yes, Mr. President, of course. And you need to know that AIG is one of the 3 international sister organizations. So there's also the Académie Internationale d'Heraldique that was founded in 1949, then our organization, and of course the World Umbrella Organization, the CIGH, that was founded in 1971. So these 3 international organizations belong together. AIG appoints a maximum of 100 worldwide experts on genealogy, and they are also representing their country, their own network, their own personal contact, and become lecturers and guests at those colloquiums as we see here internationally. And these many national views, these experiences and methodological knowledge, that is what makes the AIG. And this makes it international, and it makes it so particularly valuable. The interest, as I said, the interest in international research is rare. It's only a small group. It is not an explosive or big growing group. It is a rare and small group. But fields of experts, it is us. We are those researchers. It is most valuable then that we come together, have events, and then publish what we have found out. So those lectures, that is a big milestone in the brick of what we see internationally on genealogy. And there are activities, just to give you an impression, that was the International Colloquium in Messina in 2021. That was very important. Ladies and gentlemen, it was very important, and why I'm going to tell you, because that was the first international event after COVID. That was very, very emotional, and that was very important that the people could meet again after 2 years. Yeah. So that was a board meeting here in Madrid, yeah, at the International Congress here, which was, of course, very nice. And when you see what AIG actually is, we are promoting the scientific genealogy worldwide. And we have international events, our international colloquiums, by every 2 years. And you see that Spain is nearly in the lead, yeah, 2 times being host. Also San Maria, the Netherlands, and all of that. Yeah. So we see different countries already being hosts. Let us talk about the change of genealogy. What we see actually is a new measurement of genealogy, and I must say also by heredity. So it is not something that is only for the genealogists. Traditions, ladies and gentlemen, are no longer a guarantee for the future. This is brutal, this is harsh, this is not nice, yeah, to say the least, but it is reality, because what we see today, this innovative change, is that rapid that only by showing up a tradition does not lead us into the future. So things are changing fundamentally, and not only regionally or within a country, not only on a continent, but worldwide. But we have much, much easier access to different sources. I just give you an example, the digitized newspapers. That is a wonderful source. And when I started to do that, I was critical about that and said, well, who would be mentioned in those newspapers? But when you're dealing with international migration, this is fantastic. So every country who does digitize who does digitize their national newspapers also give the chance to people researching from other countries. Yeah? So that is not to underestimate. And also DNA genealogy, we heard this before, of course, opens new doors, giving us new answers to long-lasting questions in the past. When I would like to characterize the past and confront it or contrast it to what is today, one could say the past would have been the question, where do I start and how do I get information? That was the searching, that was the hard work, yeah? With a bicycle from one parish to another, church books or official documents. But today, that is totally different. When you see that innumerable clues in mass sources give us information. Just to give an idea, the ship lists of arriving immigrants from Europe to the United States, yeah, that is one of those big sources. But to be more concrete, the US Census, so the census for the whole country of the United States of 1940, millions of documents, took 123 days to be transcribed. So what is written by hand, so I type it into a computer within a database. That took in 2012 123 days. And the same census of the next 10 years, yeah, so we could assume that was even a bigger amount of documents, took only 9 days. Yeah, so this is enormous, and this is done by mankind. These are not only the Americans doing that. These were people all over the world willing to transcribe what was within the different documents. So the future definitely, in my understanding, will break new records. We have heard about the artificial intelligence here on this desk and lectures. We will link different sources together to a new storytelling, and we will also see a new of virtualization, so the way how we actually present those data. And all of us, all genealogists, will see or have already seen this breakthrough in his and her own research. So this is not that far in the future. It is already today here. And we all will become in a situation that everything is more detailed than ever before. Everything will be more complex, but it will bear more fruit than ever, because we actually will know more. Yeah. So the future will be characterized not by searching, but by discovering. Yeah. So the interest in genealogy is growing scientifically, but also popularly. Due to the more sources, genealogy is evolving more and more into biography. That means we will have more detailed information about a single person and can say he or she moved from this place to that place with his family, with his kids, and so on. So we will have a more detailed view upon the single individual biography. But the interest and engagement in organized genealogy is getting rare because we have less people, and additionally we will see less engagement internationally in international organizations. And a friend of mine, a dear colleague in the United States, said the lack of young talents within our associations, and that is the same for scientific institutions, that is a kind of neutral bomb. That means we have the resources, we have the literature, we have the money, but we don't have the people enough to be interested, and we don't have the people who keep it into the future. So that is something that we actually need to learn in the future, because no money actually can help us with. Why this? This is not promoting the German Lufthansa. It is just to give you an expression. When you're sitting in a plane, the time stands still, and then you get really international, because you have, wherever you land, there is something new for you. So, learning through exchange. Yeah, each country, as I said, has, of course, different culture background. That is all clear to you. Worldwide, the increasing number of sources I was talking about, and that is individually where the original actually is deposed, in what archive, because by digitization, it will be available for everyone. Yeah, it is. By then, if we have resources in different countries, much more important than ever before to have a personal contact to experts on the ground, to experts in that very country who can explain what is in the source and how it developed. So it's not only to have the resource, but also to understand it. And here comes the AIG into play, because we share this knowledge, and we share the possible personal contact and exchange. That makes the AIG so most valuable. So supporting different overviews of existing structures worldwide, that is important. When traveling costs are exploding, as we see, those events here, also by internet, will be much more important than ever before, because people can participate without leaving home. In my understanding, the AIG must mediate and promote the worldwide contacts between the researchers, the universities, the archives, libraries, and also companies, DNA companies, and other institutions. Because genealogists in my understanding, contribute to the cultural heritage of their nations, but also worldwide. We share a common past and we share a common future. I give you just a short concrete example for that. When we meet in Vilnius in June of this year, we started an international research project on comparative genealogy, heraldry, and vexillology. It is a small project. Now, I don't want to overdraw this, but it is a small starting by comparing different styles of methodology and also of sources in different countries. Most of these were neighbor countries, but the next step would be also to compare sources from different countries. And we've been very proud that these documents have been signed by 15 nations. Ladies and gentlemen, you are one of the very few who gets this information that in 2025 there will be a World Year of Genealogy and Heraldry. You will get more information in the upcoming month, but that is something that never has been done. That is something where people actually can come together, should come together, and we all want to learn about how genealogy and heraldry is done in different countries. Thinking about the future, genealogists focused on the past due to their topic. In other words, it is normal that we are thinking about the past. But actually, and this is very funny, actually we are thinking more about the future because we think about any possibility how to keep things that are important to us, how we carry this into the future. So normally one would think, oh, genealogists and heritors, they are just living in the past. No, we're thinking about the future. Yeah? And that is why our celebrated AIG and all entities must develop ideas for the future of genealogy. And I give you an example how brilliant this could become. We all see colorized pictures. And when you compare a black and white picture to a colorized picture, that becomes more vivid. And when you then understand that on YouTube, in every single minute, there are 500 plus hours of footage on the servers of YouTube. So we do not know what will be accessible and who will ever watch this. Yeah? But it is kept for the future, even if it's recorded now, and perhaps artificial intelligence in the future will compare this, how we looked like in 2020 to 2030 and kind of. So at the first International Congress for Young Genealogists, holding here in Madrid by the Hidalgos, I talked about some perspectives in my lecture. The genealogy for the future will not longer be genealogy, but much, much more. We must keep our eyes and ears open to the new developments. And no one of us actually can know how the future will be. Because genealogy, as any science, as any science in the world, is dynamic. And we will see future growth in sources as mentioned. Genealogy, nationally as internationally, has shown what we are doing, why, and how we do it. The future will bring new answers, but also new questions, believe me. The more we have, the more we are asking for it. Why is it that way? We will learn from different scientific areas more than ever before. It is not only DNA, it is all the other scientific areas also. And then we have got the understanding of what you see here, the interconnection of mankind. And genealogy is one of those tools that can bring us together because we can prove that we are related, that we are connected. Conclusions. Future international genealogy, in my understanding, will work on optimal structures to find easy research for contacts and researchers. So the contact between all of us, that is something that makes the future. The AIG will be dedicated to worldwide exchange as an international think tank. It is on us to think about the future and to bring people together. International genealogy must pay attention to the preservation of sources and research results. And why? Well, I give you some examples. The climate change, whether it is happening or not, there is something happening outside. Yeah. The political instabilities, and we also, sorry to say, also wars. we see areas in the world where resources are destroyed. So this is also a topic. Also to attract the younger generation, of course, to strengthen international structures and to give impulses from the regional to the national and the global research. The past becomes smaller when it disappears from our perception. What was yesterday is in our mind. What was the week before is not that clear. We are trackers and we are storytellers in the best sense of the word. It is on us to talk about not only about history, but talking about families within the history. The international exchange shows that families are in fact super local, and nobility is the early and best example for this internationality. Our ancestors came from the village, be it a smaller or a bigger one, but from villages. And today, all mankind lives in the common global village. Before I end, you have already seen that. There is a specialty, and you may allow me to say that. There is a couple on the international stage. No one has, but we have. And it is our president of the AIG, Maria Loredana Pinotti, and it is also Pierre Felice as president of the CIGH. And that makes it also very big as a family and makes it very emotional and makes it most valuable. So thank you very much to the Hidalgos and also to everyone who made possible this wonderful international colloquium. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dirk. So, ¿tienen alguna consideración, pregunta? Sí.
La mayoría son de lengua española, hablo en español, ma Giorgio va a traducir en inglés. Esto es el pensamiento que tiene todos los nuestros amigos, miembros de la Academia Internacional de Genealogía. Dirk.
This is the forward thinking that all AIG members have.
¿Se escucha? Sí. Dirk ha presentato una importante relazione che in poche parole rappresenta il pensiero della Confederazione e dell'Accademia di Genealogia.
In few words, you represented the exactly thinking of the Academy and of the Confederation.
Questa è la giusta strada per il futuro.
This is the right path for the future.
Io concludo dicendo quello che nella realtà è la genealogia. 2 parole. Genealogia sinonimo dell'umanità, niente di più.
To conclude, we want to say what is genealogy in reality. Genealogy for humanity and nothing more.
Thank you, Dirk.
Muchas gracias, muchas gracias.
Llegamos.
Are there any questions or comments?
Sí. ¿Alguna pregunta?